Ladies and gentlemen, it is my opinion, after looking at all the latest development, Trump might actually surrender to Iran. Now, what do I mean by that? Please watch on and understand what's happening and why I come to this conclusion. It is very clear to me right now that Iran has the upper hand and their strength in negotiation is getting stronger by the day. And on the other hand, Donald Trump is getting desperate. And his desperation is very obvious, which I'll review to you in some reports later, that he might actually capitulate and surrender to Iran. So please hit subscribe as I review to you more of these kind of developments. And most of these developments eventually will lead to a financial analysis and outcome. Let's watch on. So this is the latest report from ASOS, and it reads here, a US official said that Trump administration gave Iran several proposals in recent days, but so far Iranian officials hadn't accepted them. Now let me emphasize again, Trump administration give Iran several proposals in recent days. If you have the upper hand, you do not give the other side, proposal, right? It is the losing side that always asks the winning side for options and for mercy. So it is very clear who is the one losing and who is asking for mercy right now. So the Iranians basically say, no, right? Come, give me more proposal, basically. So the sources said the mediators are discussing with parties the terms for a two-phase deal. The first phase deal would be a 45-day ceasefire, which a permanent end to the war will be negotiated. The ceasefire could be extended if more time is needed. Well, it's very clear from this report that Trump is getting very desperate. Remember, we do not judge what Trump says, but we judge the situation by what he does. This is what he's doing behind the scene. He's begging, right? Almost to the point of begging the other side with repeated proposals that they really want to end the war. Well, clearly this is not a balanced negotiation anymore. So clearly the Iranians have an upper hand, and this is a case of a pressured seller negotiating with a very patient buyer. The buyer will say, drop the price some more. I want more things. So basically, this is the outcome that Donald Trump, in some sense, created for himself. And why do I say that? Well, Donald Trump imposed this trap on himself. He initially gave some deadlines, 10 days deadline, and after that gave some extensions, reissue deadlines again, and finally tomorrow is the ultimate deadline, which my opinion is very possible he will extend it again with some rubbish and nonsense. And he has totally lost credibility with not just the enemy, with also his own people, and he looked ugly. Now, maybe he doesn't care because he has incredibly thick skin, but over the negotiation table, it looks very bad and it looks very weak to the point that he has got no more negotiation power over the enemy. Now, meanwhile, while he's negotiating, the oil price continue to rise and the shipments are not sailing through. There are 3,000 tankers and cargo ships now being stuck in the Persian Gulf. 3,000. Only a trickle of them has managed to go through. I don't know how much they have paid in toll fee or ransom, but there is still 3,000 stuck there. And the oil situation is getting more and more serious. And by mid of April, that will be when most of the reserve in some countries start to run out, and then desperation will come. So for Trump, this is a nightmare situation because inflation will start to rise rapidly, and that will hit the Americans. Now, let me just say this categorically clear. The Americans might lose soldiers, might lose aircraft, might lose ship whatsoever. There's nothing more costly to Donald Trump than inflation. So there is an inflationary pressure when oil prices goes up. When oil prices goes up, it leads to many other things being inflated in prices. I don't think I need to teach everyone uh, uh, on this economically, but the most important thing is this. When inflation starts, prices start going up, they don't come down. Prices are sticky upwards. Okay. So they go very high and then it won't come down. And that will be a very costly outcome for the Republicans in the midterm elections, which is in end of this year. So if they don't check the problem as soon as possible, prices start rising. Never mind, eventually he solved it. 2 months later, 3 months later, once the price rise, they won't come down. This is the concept of sticky prices. And as a result, the voters will get angry and the Republicans, which is Donald Trump's party, will lose many votes. He cannot afford to have this, and this is a very serious outcome for him. So, what about military option? He could send troops down and take over at least the coast of Iran or things like that. Well, politically, it's very unacceptable. I'll just give you this. It's very clear to me also over the weekend the rescue of just one weapons specialist officer, the colonel who managed to bail out of the F-15 Strike Eagle, escaped up to the high ground and got rescued. Just one weapons service officer caused so much angst, so much pressure, monitoring the whole rescue from the White House situation room and things like that. Once you have boots on the ground, there's going to be a lot more colonels, half colonels, majors, foot soldiers, NCOs being killed, being captured, and that will be a nightmare scenario for Donald Trump. So it is very clear that it's politically unacceptable for boots on the ground. It's very, very unlikely. And number two, he he now needs money to fund the war, and Congress is not happy to fund this war that very few people believe in it. Even his Republican senators are not believing it. So, the costs will be very high, and not just in terms of price in funding, but casualties as well. So I don't think this is a very likely outcome. So, well, if Mr. Lu, the little YouTuber somewhere in a country called Singapore, will know this, I can assure you the Iranians know this more intimately than I do. So the Iranians must have seen multiple proposals coming in and seen all the repeated extended deadline and see all this situation getting more and more desperate. See the old man flip-flopping and getting desperate, so their conclusion will be the same as mine. The US needs a deal more than I do. So we will negotiate from a position of strength, not weakness. So they're going to put up a hard bargain right now. Now, to be frank, what the Iranian wants has been very consistent. They want a stop to all this aggression, no more airstrike, no more assassination, and they want binding war guarantees. No more just verbal promises which can be broken again and again and has been broken again and again. They want enforceable one. Now, what do that mean? I don't know. Maybe United Nations to come in to enforce peace and things like that. We've seen quite a few of these kind of arrangements in Middle East for other countries between Israel and some of their enemies. They want war repatriations. You cause so much damage, you cause so much deaths and things like that. I want you to repay me. And for now, I want Israel to stop all the wars with Lebanon, Iraq, the Houthis, the Gaza, and so on. Okay, and I want you to recognize that I have control. Iran, has the control over the Straits of Hormuz and possibly the right to control tolls. And finally, the lifting of all sanctions that you, American, has put on me, Iran, for many decades. Wow, this is a lot of give. And I would say that it's very difficult for the American to consider even one of these, let alone 5 to 6 of these. Well, the Iranians will not rush. You don't want, never mind, we keep fighting. They are like Mike Tyson, able to take blows and blows and blows, but he'll be still standing. But you can't. You can blow and blow and blow, but you will start to bleed. Okay. Your back end would have nobody supporting you. So this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to turn their fortunes around. And if I were then, I would not give in. So clearly, this 45-day ceasefire is not a solution, and they are not about to give the US strength to bring in more troops to increase their presence in this area and to hit them even harder later. This is where I came to the conclusion, looking at how desperate and how Trump might flip. I think there is a chance, and a pretty high one, that Trump may have to give in to many of these terms. And by giving in is as good as saying that I surrender. Okay, I surrender. Most likely concession he might give. He won't give all six of them. He'll say, okay, I will stop all aggression. I'll give you some form of guarantees, not just verbal, but I will find ways to stop this, and I will also lift all the sanctions. I think these two he can give. Wow, the rest I think is very difficult. That's why right now they couldn't come to an agreement. But I think eventually he will have to give more. So now he will repackage it to look like his face is safe, but no, he won't. He won't have a chance to walk away without surrendering many of the terms, and effectively, he's gone. So I think that there is no chance of him not giving in to the Iranians if he wants this war to stop. So clearly, what the US wants is a face-saving exit, a short-term relief, and he can quickly, cause everything to stop and the price of oil to fall and restore order to the world economy. The Iranians, I don't care. Okay, I will continue to hit as hard as possible all the Gulf countries' infrastructure, which I've been doing and I'll keep doing, and I will block. You can bomb me, you can strike me. We are 190 million people. How many can you kill, right? So this is where they will go. So they will hold as hard as possible for this thing to happen. Well, I think as investors, this is a very interesting outcome if this were to happen. Now, I cannot guarantee you 100% happen, but I think it's all about oil, oil, oil. So if oil trade can resume, I think this is what it is will be. But I think the the situation will cause a lot more volatility to oil and stock market. Within a day, within an hour, within the next hour, you see go up, go down, go up, go down. And a lot of the investors are responding to what Trump says and what Trump's not say and things like that. But the truth is, I would just say this: we watch what Donald Trump does, or watch what his administration does, and then we react when the market reaches the right level. Otherwise, we sit back and watch and prepare, the right liquidity and dry powder. So this story is still unfolding. The negotiation is still going on through third parties. There's no deal right now, not even close to a deal. And it's just pure uncertainty right now. So the outcome could present opportunity for us. So please hit subscribe and not miss it. And I'll keep you informed. I will meet you guys again tonight in a live stream. Bye-bye.